Well, hey everybody, how are we doing today? We are getting very close to the end of our second chapter, which means that next test is coming right around the corner. I will let you know, as we've started to master this solving equations, we also now have to start to think about, well, what is the next step? Well, once you've mastered how to do something, we start to learn how to create those equations for ourselves from a real world situation and then solve them. So let's get into it. Most important thing, guys, is read your entire problem carefully, highlight things that seem important or of value, and identify what are you actually trying to solve for. Sometimes you might have to read them more than once. So here we go. Mackenzie and Joe go out for sushi rolls. They share a miso soup at $4.25. Joe ordered 2 rolls. Mackenzie ordered 3. If Joe spent $18.75, how much was each roll? So again, we're looking at important things here. Joe and Mackenzie go out for sushi rolls. Great, but that's only telling us what they did. They share a miso soup, meaning they shared one soup and that soup cost $4.25. So that's important. Joe ordered 2 rolls. Mackenzie ordered 3. That's important. And Joe spent $18.75. All right, we are trying to come up with what? How much was each roll? So that's what we don't know. X is going to equal price of the rolls. So roll price. The moolah he spent for those rolls. All right, let's start to put this. We know that he spent a grand total of $18.75. And now we have what? A miso soup. We know that they shared one miso soup, and that one soup cost $4.25. And what? Joe had 2 rolls. So 2 times X, since X is the price of a roll. If he had 2, he had to pay the price twice. And Mackenzie ordered 3 sushi rolls. And like that, we have an equation. Look, we can combine some like terms. This would be 5x plus 425 is equal to 18.75. And now we do what? This is an equation, so we're going to set up our little scales. We're trying to solve for x, which means we need to move the 425 over. If we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other. Subtraction property of equality. Do our math. 1850. These cancel. Leaves us with 5x. Notice our x is still, the sushi rolls are still not by themselves. So we divide by 5, we divide by 5. So again, basically, look at this again. So here's how much money Joe spent. When you remove the cost of the miso soup, he actually spent $14.50 on 5 rolls. So how do you see which each roll is? You divide it by 5. That's the division property of equality. We had to divide both sides equally. So X is going to equal, this should come out to $2.90. All right, there we go. Joe's little venture, his sushi rolls were $2.90 a piece. Pretty good price. Well, now we're going to get into one that gets a little bit more complicated. So let's read it first. Kevin's weight is 5 kilograms less than twice Chloe's. Together, they are 100 kilograms. What are their weights? So notice how this is written. They're telling us Kevin's weight, but talking to us in terms of the other person's weight. So we know that he is what? 5 kilograms less than twice Chloe's weight. So what we have to do is say, okay, X is going to equal Chloe's weight. Chloe's weight. And now we need to write it in terms, his weight in terms of hers. Because here's her weight. We're going to be adding them together, and they're supposed to total 100 kilograms. But we have to come up with this expression that represents Kevin's weight. So it's 5 less than. So we know we're going to take away 5. And it's 5 less than what? It's 5 less than twice or 2 times Chloe's weight. 2. Twice Chloe's weight. So we said this, X is Chloe's weight. So twice Chloe's weight. 5 less than twice Chloe's weight. Now again, guys, these parentheses were only here so that we could visualize these individual weights. Here's Kevin, there's Chloe. Now we can start to combine some like terms, right? 2x and an x is a 3x minus 5. So we've accounted for everything that was on this side is equal to 100. We have to add 5. Because again, remember, we're solving. This is the addition property of equality. 105 is going to equal 3x. So now we have to divide. Division property of equality. We are still justifying, and you always should be. So here's Chloe's weight, because we said what? X is equal to Chloe's weight. So 105 divided by 3 is equal to 35. And if we're trying to find Kevin's weight, well, we have to take this 35 and, like we did from chapter 1, substitution. So 2x, we're going to remove the x. And we can say we can insert this 35 in here. And now we evaluate. So 2 times 35 is 70. And 70 minus 5 is 65. So Kevin weighs 65 and Chloe weighs 35. And writing an equation with respects to another person or another variable, the same variable is being used twice. Let's look at the last one. Okay, so it's telling us the first of 2 films lasts 3 minutes less than twice as long as the second. And we're talking about films. So this second film, X is the film, X is in particular, X is the second film. And the first film is written in terms of how long that second film is. To be exact, they're saying it's 3 minutes less than twice as long as the second, or 2 times X. And together, both films last 135. So here's the first film. This represents the first film. And X is the second film. And together, meaning adding them, they are 132 minutes long. So again, just like we had above this one, we now can start to combine our like terms. We've used these. Bring down the minus 3. And we can just start to solve this equation now. And when we solve it, we're going to get how long was the second term. But be careful. Look, they wanted us to know how long was the first term. So whatever we get for X, we are going to have to plug it into this expression for the first term and see how long that first term actually is. Again, this is why evaluating an expression using that law of substitution is so important. So if we're going to solve, we have our scales. We do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. That is the addition. It's a property of equality. So 135 is equal to 3x. The x can just come straight down. We divide both sides by 3. Division property of equality. So we know that first film, x, is going to equal 135 minutes divided by 3 is 45 minutes. So the first film is 45 minutes long. And they said the second film was 3 minutes less than twice the second. So plug this in. 45 times 2 is a 90 minutes. And it said it was 3 minutes less than that. So we have minus 3, and you have an 87-minute film equals the first film. All right, guys, like that, this is all about reading carefully, highlighting the parts that are important. When they write something with respect to something else, it's the same variable being used across the board. We combine like terms, we solve, and then we have to very carefully see what do they want us, what do they want from us? Like this one was great. We found what the second film was, but they wanted the length of the first. So please be careful. Remember to read your directions carefully. All right, guys, have a great day today. Make sure you're getting out there and you are doing all your homework.